We've got some terrific folks here tonight to meet you and to share with you their experiences as students here at Augusta University and members of the Jaguar Battalion. And in addition to those, we have the leader, the fearless leader of our Jaguar Battalion here at Augusta University. And it's my privilege to kick us off this evening with Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Keenan. Colonel Keenan, if you would do us a favor and just give us a quick introduction and share with us what you love about leading the Jaguar Battalion here at Augusta University, we thank you.
Yep, thanks, Angela, and good evening, everyone. Hey, it's been a real privilege to be part of Augusta University since I arrived last summer. And in my role as the chair of the Military Science Department, I get to interact with all the different departments across the university and hear about the interesting things that my students get to be a part of. And the thing that I've really enjoyed the most about my time at Augusta University thus far is that the very intimate feel that you get on campus and the close student-to-teacher ratio that we have, not only in the Military Science Department, but across campus. It really feels a place where students can come and be comfortable to figure out who they are, what they want to learn, and where they want to go with their life. And one of the neat things about the Jaguar Battalion, the Army ROTC program, is we get to partner with those students. And tonight I've got 4 of my top freshman students to join us. And Angela, I think you'd like to introduce them to our visitors.
I certainly would. So I want to make one more quick point to our guests this evening that these are students who are just one click ahead of you. They were where you were a mere year ago prior to joining the battalion. So I want to call on them and engage them a little bit. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves, tell you what their major is and what they like about being a member of the Jaguar Battalion. Taylor, do you mind kicking us off?
Hi, I'm Taylor Cook. I'm a cybersecurity major. And my favorite thing about the battalion is the size and the personal feel and connection you get with the cadre. It's just a really good touch of it.
Fantastic. Appreciate it so much. I'm going to turn now to our friend Jose Castro and ask him to give us a little bit of information about his experience, his major, where home is, and what he loves about being a member of the Jaguar Battalion.
Hey, good evening. My name is Jose. Like Lieutenant Colonel Keenan said, I'm a first-year student at Augusta University. I'm from North Carolina, so pretty out of state. But what I loved about Augusta University, as well as the Jaguar Battalion here, is the feeling of family. It's a pretty small, university, which makes me really love it. More one-on-one settings, and I feel like my opinions and my voices are heard. And then a bunch of the cadets and other individuals that I meet throughout the program, I feel like I build lifelong relationships and bonds with, which is what I really love about the battalion.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jose. I've already talked about community a little bit here at Augusta University. We certainly have one that's university-wide. Certainly the student body is a community in and of itself, and the Jaguar Battalion is no different. That is certainly a smaller subset of our students, but certainly a community into and of itself that really helps our students get established and find their way here once they join us on campus. Jessica, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where home is, what you're majoring in, what you love about being a member of the Jaguar Battalion?
Hi, I'm Jessica Stedman. I'm majoring in English right now, so I'll get a degree in education. I currently live in Georgia, but my favorite thing about the Jaguar Battalion, one of the things that I love most, is how it actually challenges me. It doesn't expect me to just do my minimum. It tries to get me to go beyond what I thought was my potential to reach further than I ever thought I could.
Fantastic. I like a story of motivation because there is certainly a lot of growth and development that happens during your 4 years when you join us here at Augusta University. Last but most certainly not least, I turn to the lovely Malia Lawson.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Malia Lawson. I am majoring in nursing. I am from a county that's like 45 minutes away, well, outside of Atlanta, but I just say Atlanta because nobody knows where Gwinnett County is. So one thing I love about the ROTC program here at Augusta University is, like Jose and Taylor said, it's very small, which means it's very personal. So you get to have one-on-ones with cadre and other cadets instead of like not being heard and your opinions not mattering. So I really like that. It's very personal, which I think is good.
Before I release you, Malia, I'm going to push you just a little bit farther. Jessica has encouraged me that this is a group that likes motivation and challenge. So I'm going to reach back to you and ask, why do you think having that close community, that individual attention, that ability to reach out, why does that matter?
I think it matters because it makes you want to be a better you, because you see that others are helping you and trying to push you to be ahead and be better in the future. Whereas if there was, like, say we had like 100 freshmen in ROTC, you would be looked over by everybody else who's doing very, like, way better than you. I don't want to say like better than you, but like doing more than you. So it's like we're smaller and everybody gets their own spotlight in a way here in the ROTC program.
Fantastic. I'm going to make one more plug right now for our guests who have joined us as you have trickled in this evening. Remind you that if you've got questions for these cadets or for Lieutenant Colonel Keenan, I want to invite you to drop those questions into the chat box so that we make sure that we use our time wisely for you this evening. Before I refer back to the chat box to get some more, I want to go ahead and invest some of the questions that came in early in advance with some of these students. I'm going to turn back to you, Taylor. Hope you don't mind. Here is the question that came in early. How does being in the Jaguar Battalion affect you as a student overall?
For me, it definitely motivates me. GPA is pretty important for ROTC. So while I'm not the best scholar, I'll totally admit that. It definitely pushes me to be a better one just because I know it's into consideration. And also it's just like, you know, because I take ROTC very seriously, like in terms of like the work assigned. So it's like, okay, I got to write a paper. I'm sitting down writing the paper, might as well do my other homework. So it just kind of bounces off and it motivates me in a lot of ways.
Thank you. What I heard is that the expectations of the Jaguar Battalion are expectations that you have carried over into your other academic work, making you more effective at both. It's kind of, in the military, don't they call those force multipliers, sir? Things that make things better. Jose, I want to turn to you now. What part of being a member of the Jaguar Battalion positively impacts your experience? How does it change your experience as a student at AU?
Well, like Taylor said, grades and motivation, it's one of the big factors. You know, it makes me strive to become a better person every single day, whether that be through academics or just in my daily life in Augusta University. It's made me become more of a leader as well, as I continue to branch out, especially joining other groups such as, you know, the honors program or HPSA or even Greek life. It's made me want to become a better person and in that way, you know, lead others to a more bright future.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jose. Jessica, I hope you're ready for a pivot because I want to move on to the next question. And this will either be the easiest question to answer or the hardest because you know that Lieutenant Colonel Keenan is with us tonight. What is the hardest part of being a member of the Jaguar Battalion?
Okay, so for me personally, it's the PT because we have to meet 3 times a week at like 6:20 in the morning, and then we stay there for an hour, and that's fun and all, but I'm dying the whole time. And I have to sometimes, like recently, we were running a lot longer than what I'm used to. Over summer, I ran 2 miles, but this PT recently is like 4 miles and 5 miles. But as I said before, it's really a motivation thing. So because of it, I've been able to run more and I've been able to exercise more, but it is the most difficult part for me.
You leave me wondering though, Jessica, is that more about the time of the morning or what you're doing?
I am not a morning person.
There we have it. I'm going to take a quick turn back to Lieutenant Colonel Keenan and ask for a leadership perspective because I know that you're designing and building a program to build the very best. Tell me what you really think is a key skill set or characteristic of a successful member of the Jaguar Battalion here at Augusta University.
Angela, thanks. It's a great question. One of the things that I focused on since I arrived here, and my freshmen will echo that, is that I really believe it's my job to create the space for leadership to occur, to create an environment where students feel comfortable taking on responsibility and be able to build their confidence. Really a big thing about confidence is knowledge and experience. And in order to get knowledge and experience, I believe in my heart, you've got to be a self-starter. You've got to be willing to take a chance, willing to kick out and take on the opportunity to be a part of something. And as part of our leadership development program, because it's truly what the military science department does, is we train and develop leaders. We're going to give you that opportunity, even at the lowest levels. These freshmen themselves have been given the opportunity to lead things throughout this year as they get a chance to get comfortable leading people that are more senior to them and allow them to be the ones that have that opportunity. So for me, it's really, in that space that I create for leadership to occur is the student that is willing to grab onto that and make the most of the opportunity to challenge themselves, whether it's at physical fitness in the morning, leading PT. Each one of these students here has led PT in front of the entire battalion as a freshman and had that experience and the confidence built from that as they go into their sophomore year now. So a self-starter, I think, honestly, is the number one thing as you come into this environment, especially college, to really take advantage of those opportunities that are out there, because they're not just going to come find you. You've got to go out and go find them.
I appreciate that. And now I want to bounce kind of a version of that back to the students. If you don't mind, Malia, I'm going to turn to you again and ask the following. Where have you seen that ability to self-start, that initiative, serve you best this year?
Can you repeat the question one more time, please?
Angela, you're muted there.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I was asking Malia to share with me how she feels like the ability to self-start, like Lieutenant Colonel Keenan was talking about, how demonstrating that initiative. Where have you seen your personal investment in that skill set, that characteristic pay benefits for you this year?
Well, I see it really, well, like you're saying, like in leadership, being a leader, and also in academics too, because I wasn't, like Taylor said, I'm not really the academic person. So I don't really, it's like I do work, but it's just kind of hard for me to sit down and focus on getting all my work done at one time. So it's just a process of, telling myself that I have to do this.
I also hear that there might be a little bit of self-discovery happening there with you, Malia, learning what might work best for you. Sounds like maybe a long study session isn't the right match for you. Is that correct? Okay. I'm going to turn that question to you, Jose. Tell me where you have seen being a self-starter, demonstrating initiative. Where have you seen that skill set paying dividends for you as a student at Augusta University?
Well, that skill set for me, I've seen, not only in the classroom, but as well, especially in ROTC. Like I can take leadership if they need me to, and I won't be nervous or anxious about it, which is what I love about the Jaguar Battalion and how they developed me throughout the short 2 semesters already. And it's a gratifying feeling to know, like, the skills they've taught me and whatnot, just like helps me push myself as a leader. I can lead others when we have field training events sometimes, and we have turns, leading our team. I'm not scared because I know that even if I do fail, it's always a learning experience, and that learning experience leads to, knowledge and more expertise. And then that way, next time I won't fail, and that way I'll succeed with better, goals and whatnot.
Fantastic. You just used a word that a lot of people are intimidated by, Jose, something that a lot of people don't want to admit, don't want to confront, don't want to consider. I'm going to ask Lieutenant Colonel Keenan to jump back in and talk about the role of failure in developing young leaders here at Augusta University. How does the Jaguar Battalion handle failure?
Well, it goes back to that space we talked about, Angela. And the space we create for leadership to occur is really the lab. this is the laboratory where these students are given the opportunity to try different things. And we know the first time we put them in front of a PT formation, the first time we make them lead a field leadership or action course challenge, that it's not going to be the best experience. That's part of the process. And we're here every step of the way to allow them to challenge themselves, to do a little self-discovery. And at the end of that iteration, when there's less than success, to sit down with one of our cadre, because we are a small organization, be able to have that one-on-one conversation to talk about the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities to improve. And we use that continual feedback cycle all the way through the curriculum throughout the year, and each grade as they go up to their senior year in commission. So that constant environment of challenge, assessment, feedback, challenge, assessment, feedback, allow the students to start building that confidence from experience. And rightfully so, there are things we give them the opportunity to do that they're not going to succeed in. That's the way life is. And the opportunity to have that experience inside the lab where you have the ability to take a step back, observe yourself, make modifications, and move forward is really a cool thing about the ROTC experience.
I appreciate that. And I think that what our guests are hearing this evening, there's a really dynamic aspect of what we're talking about here. There's been discussion of development. There's been discussion of an iterative process where you have the privilege of going through an experience in a lab, a safe learning setting. We've heard our friend Malia already talk about the development and the self-discovery, learning how she studies best. Taylor, I'm going to reach back to you and ask you a question that I hope won't make you uncomfortable. Certainly, it sounds like you're being coached, and that this is one of the best parts of your learning lab in the Jaguar Battalion here at Augusta University. Can you tell me about a failure that led to some growth?
That's a great question. I think for me, my failures aren't necessarily so apparent, but they're more failures personally for me. So for me, I am a horrible procrastinator. I think Lieutenant Colonel can somewhat back me up on that. So I was in charge of making shirt designs, and school finals, everything got me sidetracked. I took like a month on those. And from that experience and realizing this should have been done weeks ago, that was a failure, 100% for me. And I kind of beat myself over that because, like I needed that push and I got it done in 5 minutes. So that was a failure because why didn't I get it done 5 minutes ago, a few weeks ago? So learning from that, I definitely know it's not as hard as you think it is. You just learn from it and you keep on going. In terms of leading experience, I haven't failed on that part too much, I think. Definitely though, oh, you should have gone this way. Okay, now I know how to think about it more critically next time and to consider all aspects. And so it just teaches you what to prepare for in the future, really.
Fantastic. I also appreciate that it sounds like there's some support there. Your failures, while your experience is personal, it sounds like there's been some support there. I saw our friend Jessica nodding during some of that. So I have to go to her next and ask, did you relate to that because you've had a challenge go not as well as you want, something we could potentially call a failure, and that you learned and grew through?
I haven't had too many failures recently, but back before I entered college, I was preparing to take the PT test to get the scholarship because I was trying to get that. And I actually failed the run. I got an 11-minute, 30-something mile run. And that's terrible. But I learned from that over summer. I ran a mile, 2 miles, like every single day with my mom. And then I was able to pass it this last semester. So, but I've been able to grow because of my failures.
Fantastic, fantastic. Malia, tell me about a challenge. Tell me about a failure that you've grown through since you joined us at Augusta University as a part of the Jaguar Battalion.
Well, to piggyback off of what Jessica said, with the PT test, it was really the sit-ups. I couldn't do more than like 25 sit-ups. Like sit-ups part was terrible. So I felt like that was a failure where I passed everything else. But over the semester, I worked harder every day, was working out in my room, and then going to PT. And then eventually, when I did take the test again, I did end up passing the sit-ups part and getting more than 25 sit-ups and passing.
How good did that feel?
To see that all my hard work had paid off.
That's exactly right. What I think I'm hearing, at least from Jessica and Malia, is that there are some dimensions of themselves that this program is really requiring them to develop that maybe most people don't think about as a part of going to college and a part of a leadership training program. Jose, tell me about any surprises you've experienced. What are some things that maybe you find yourself developing that you didn't think when you were in high school? It wasn't something that you thought would be a part of your development or your educational experience in college, but as a member of the Jaguar Battalion, it's happening.
Something that I've been developing this year is most definitely confidence. And Lieutenant Colonel Keenan can attest to this, especially throughout labs when we're giving leadership opportunities to lead. And I'm a perfectionist, or I'd like to, excel at certain things. So when I don't succeed, or if I fail, I beat myself up. But fortunately, Lieutenant Colonel or any of the other cadre or members of the ROTC are there, to pick me up and, provide guidance. And then that has really, built up my confidence, not only just in ROTC, but, in any other organization or group that I'm part of, to not be afraid of failure or whatnot, because, it builds me back up.
I love that. I love that confidence is something that you didn't expect would be a part of your personal and educational development in college, but that this program has made that possible for you. I'm going to ask Lieutenant Colonel Keenan to give just a quick biography of our Jaguar Battalion here at Augusta University. How big are you? How many folks typically leave the university and go on into active military service? Tell us where these students come from, what fields they pursue. Just give us kind of a general sense of the program here at AU.
Okay, Angela. So at the start of spring semester, we were 60 cadets in our program. Our senior class is 10 cadets that will commission next Saturday as second lieutenants going off into the active Army, the Army Reserve, and the National Guard. Our freshman class is about 16 to 18 students they're going to carry over into our sophomore year. And then our junior class is going to be close to 25 students. And right now we've got several students already locked into our freshman class. One of the key things about our program that's really unique is that starting this fall, we will touch 9 of the 10 colleges at Augusta University. So we'll have students ranging from Hull College of Business to Pamplin to the computer and cyber sciences, College of Science and Math, all the way up to the Dental College of Georgia, the Graduate College, Allied Health Campus. So we are really a representative cross-section of the university. Additionally, we draw students from across the state. As you heard earlier, we've got a student from North Carolina. We've got a student from Atlanta, Georgia. We have students from Macon, Savannah, and all across the CSRA. So that's one of the cool things about our program is that we really represent a cross-section of the state of Georgia and the Southeast. And we have majors from across the portfolio. As you hear, you have 3 STEM majors in this conversation right now and a liberal arts major. So we're really a representative of what AU presents.
Fantastic, thanks. We've drawn very near to the end of our conversation, friends. And so if anybody has a question that they want to drop in the chat, this is kind of your very last call for it. I've got one final question that I'd like to ask the students of the Jaguar Battalion who are with us tonight. And I'm going to ask each of you. Taylor, I'm going to start with you. Here's my question. Before joining the Jaguar Battalion at Augusta University, I expected X. And either it was exactly what I expected, or instead I found Y. And tell us what that X and Y are. Before I came to the Jaguar Battalion at Augusta University, I expected X. And either I got it, or I found Y.
I think Taylor froze up there. Angela, you're muted.
I see that Taylor is frozen. I'm going to go ahead and turn to Jose now. Jose, oh, Taylor's back. Let me go back to Taylor. There she is.
I'll try to make it like fast. I was saying, if I did have any expectation, I guess it'd be like, oh, did you just mess up, drop and give me 50? Oh my gosh, you will address me as this, and where's my salute? Like, I thought it would be more like strict. But the actual expectation is they treat you like an adult, and it's a learning facility. So they're going to help you learn. They're not going to punish you for your failures. They're going to motivate you and educate them on them. So that
we've got our sweet friend Taylor frozen there, but I think we heard what she had to say. She was expecting something really punitive. And instead, she found a lot of respect and a coaching environment that was going to grow her. I'm going to turn to Jose and ask him the same question now. Jose, before I came to AU, I expected being a part of the Jaguar Battalion would be X, or I would find X as a member of the Jaguar Battalion. But instead, or that's exactly what I found, or instead I found Y.
Like Taylor said, I expected, college ROTC to be very strict and people who are like, very, very serious and, focused on ROTC, because throughout high school, I did JROTC all 4 years, and that's what I witnessed and was a part of. But fortunately, actually, when I was surprised to find out that most people are, actually relaxed. While ROTC is very important, their mentality is we're here to help everybody. We're just not here to help ourselves, and which is what I really love about the Jaguar Battalion, that it's more family-based and cohesive than just self-centered individuals.
Thanks, Jose. I really appreciate that. Jessica, I'd love to hear your answer now about how the Jaguar Battalion surprised you or didn't. In what way?
So I also did ROTC in high school before coming, but my experience was more everybody knew each other. We were all friends. And so I was expecting, college to be the opposite of that. I wasn't expecting it to be so close-knit together and family-like he had just said. So when I showed up and everybody actually knew my name, and everyone was calling me my first name instead of my last name as well, because in high school I went by my last name because that's how we did things. But here they'll say, Jessica, how are you doing today? I'm like, whoa, you just said my first name. I'm great. How are you? So it's a lot more personal than I thought it was going to be.
Fantastic. That sounds like a pleasant surprise to receive. Malia, can you go ahead and close us out by letting us know what you expected and whether that expectation was met or you had a surprise in a different way?
Well, I also did ROTC in high school for 4 years. And back in high school, we had a big program. We had over 300 cadets in our program. So coming to college, I was expecting the same big program and everything. But when I did get here, it was a very smaller program, which I like because, it's more personable and everything. Because back in high school, I didn't even know half of the cadets there, and I was in a leadership role, so I didn't know their names. Like, hey, you, which is kind of bad, but I didn't know their names because it's so big. But here in college, it's everybody by their names, and then you can also, make friends outside of the program, which I didn't have back in high school. So that's what I found here in college, a more personable program for me, which I like very much.
Fantastic. I want to thank all of our guests for being with us this evening. I want to invite Lieutenant Colonel Keenan to share any more details. I hope you noticed that in the chat, he's dropped the webpage for our cadre here on campus for our Jaguar Battalion. I want to, and there's Instagram, folks. You can check them out. I hear that they had a field training exercise recently, an FTX. There's photographic evidence that you can find there. I want to thank each of our featured guests this evening, Taylor Cook, Jose Castro, Jessica Stedman, Malia Lawson. I want to thank you for sharing your experiences, your authentic experience in the Jaguar Battalion, and your insights into the kind of training and development it provides. Lieutenant Colonel Keenan, do you have any final comments for the group of guests that joined us this evening?
Yeah, thank you, Angela. I know we had one student showed up a little bit later. One thing I want to share with the group that as you're interested in Army ROTC and you're prepared to make your decision to join Augusta University, it's a great place. And I mean that sincerely. I have enjoyed my time here in Augusta, and it's a neat town. It's a beautiful time of the year right now, too, as you can see out Angela's window. But coming to AU, the first step to become an Army cadet is come to AU. And the next step is during your orientation to simply register for Military Science 1011. And I'll put that in the chat as well. And that's how you start your path. Each of these students follow the exact same path. And all 4 of these students will be on scholarship starting next fall. And they'll have their education paid for all the way through to their senior year. So they've made some smart decisions, came to AU. I'm assuming they've done very well this semester. I see some smiles on their faces. So hopefully they finish the semester strong. And then in August, they'll start on scholarship as a part of our program. So that pathway is right there for you as well. And the biggest thing I can offer you is, AU's got such a diverse education footprint. There's something for everybody here. And I wish you the best of luck as you get to make this big decision. I hope to see you on campus this fall.
Fantastic. It is a huge decision. And we are grateful that you all have sacrificed the time to be with us this evening to learn as much as you can, to either strengthen the decision that you've already made, in which case we congratulate you, or to really amplify your consideration of Augusta University as you endeavor to make the very best decision for yourself. I want to thank Lieutenant Colonel Keenan and his cadets for being with us tonight. And I want to say a final good evening from Augusta University. We hope to see you here soon as Jaguars. Have a great night. Thanks, everybody.